husband, old Filth, Sir Edward, the great crag of a man seated above her on the patio, pretending to shoot rooks with his walking stick, a gin and tonic at his elbow, had quite simply broken his heart. Birds and beasts were important to old Filth. Donkeys, years ago his prep school headmaster had taught him about birds. It was birds and the language of the natural world, and the headmaster, whose name was briefly Sir, who had cured him of his awful childhood stammer and enabled him to become an advocate. His house, Dexter's, lay in a long, narrow dell off the village hill, bird-haunted and surrounded by trees. Beyond his gate, up the same turn-off and out of sight, Veneering's house stood at the top of the view. His taller, darker trees hung over the lane, but the rooks ignored them. Rooks, thought old Filth, choose their friends. They will only abandon a friend if they have foreknowledge of disaster. Each night before sleep and each morning, Filth lay in his bed straight as a sentry, striped chill-proof pajamas, neatly buttoned, handkerchief in breast pocket carefully folded, and listened to the vigorous clamour of the rooks and was comforted. So long as he could hear their passionate disputations, he would never miss his life at the commercial bar. He did rather wish they had been cleaner birds. Their nests were old and huge, ramshackle and filthy. Filth himself was ostentatiously clean. His fingernails and toenails were pearly, chiropodist to the house every 6th week, £25 a time. His hair, still not grey but curly, autumnal bronze. His complexion shone and was scarcely lined. He smelled of Wright's coal tar soap, rather excitingly, a commodity beginning to be rare in many parts of the country. He must have had something to hide, said young barristers. Something nasty in his woodshed. What? Old Filth, they cried. Impossible. They were, of course, wrong. Eddie Feathers, QC, had as much to hide as everybody else. But whatever it was, it would have nothing to do with money. He never mentioned the stuff. He was a gentleman to the end. There must have been buckets of it somewhere, bucket upon bucket upon bucket, thanks to the long, long international practice. And he spent nothing, or nothing much. Maybe a bit more than the mysterious Veneering next door. He was not a vain man. He strode about the lanes in expensive tweeds, but they were very old. Not much fun, but never pompous. If he ever brooded upon his well-organized millions, managed by impeccable brokers, he didn't think about them much. He joked about them occasionally. Oh, yes, I have held the gorgeous East in fee, he would say, ha, ha, and quoting Sir, his headmaster. He himself never went to the theatre or read poetry, for he wept too easily. After a time, a lethargy had fallen upon Feathers. He lost the energy even to think about moving house, and maybe the old enemy up the slope had begun to feel the same. They never met. If occasionally they found themselves passing one another at a distance during an afternoon walk in the lanes, each looked away. Then, after a year or so, something must have happened. It was never discussed, even in the village shop, but there were some astonishing sightings. Sounds of old English accents, staccato in the bluebell woods. It happened over a snowbound Christmas. Before long, it was reported that the two old buffers were playing chess together on Thursdays. And when Terry Veneering died during a ridiculous jaunt, foot in a hole on a cliff top on the island of Malta, and then thrombosis, Edward Feathers said, silly old fool, far too old for that sort of thing, I told him so, but was surprised how much he missed him. Yet he refused to attend Veneering's memorial service at Temple Church in London. There would have been comment